I think one of the main problems in society right now is that people don't get punched in the face anymore. We wrote that song in Texas. We do a writing retreat every year, and that year it was me, Hardy, Brock Berryhill, Taylor Phillips, Josh Phillips, Randy Montana, Will Weatherly, Jake Mitchell. It just the list goes on and on. I mean, you got a laundry list of who's writing all some stuff in Nashville. We go down to Texas, we shoot some stuff, hunt some stuff, and write some songs. And one night it was like 3 in the morning, so you can imagine there had been some extracurriculars going on. I think some of the boys might have been in the bottle a little bit, and I might have spent a little time with Willie Nelson. We were just having interesting conversations, and Taylor Phillips spouted out something about, man, I hope I'm in heaven by then, or something remotely close. And I remember Hardy slammed both his fists down on the table, and he stood up and he said, damn it, Taylor, why would you say that in a room full of 8 writers? You know, 'cause ideally you want an idea like that to come up in a room of 2. Or 3 at the most. But I will say it was kind of cool to have all those guys on it. We were all sitting outside. I couldn't tell you who threw what word in or when or where, but it was kind of cool to have a lot of the guys on one song. You know, it was the guys that weathered the storm and stayed up that late, got their name on it. But it was a special song, man. And to me, it's kind of about being an old soul and, you know, feeling like the world's kind of running off and leaving me behind a little bit. And that's the case, and I'm all right with it. There's a lot of stuff going on in society right now I don't understand and don't want to. So. But yeah, when Blake came on board, it was kind of like, man, if I had a bucket list, I'd be just checking things off left and right. But I've always been a fan of Blake's, man. I mean, back from Austin, and, you know, Old Red was a jam of mine. But more than that, I love the guy's music, but he's one of those that's been the same guy every time I've met him. He's always been kind to me and everybody with me, and he's just a solid ass dude. So him getting on the song meant the world to me, and he obviously delivered and just killed it. And every now and then, you know, when you write a song, you can hear the feature in it, you know, or what the dream feature would be for it. And I gotta say, we heard him right off the bat. And so for him to agree to do it was kind of like a master plan coming together, you know. But he came and knocked it out of the park, and then, you know, when we listened to the first mix back with Blake and I on it, there was an obvious high harmony that was missing. And it was something that Brock was doing and nailing it, but we were just kind of joking around, and man, if Vince Gill was on that thing, he'd slay it. And that turned into calls being made, and man, when Vince jumped on board too, it was like, man, this, you know, kind of a pinch me moment. I always tell people, if God gave, you know, angels voices to humans, he gave them to Vince Gill and Alison Krauss. He's got one of my favorite vocals of all time, and his guitar playing. He's just an insanely talented artist, and man, and he's another one that's been kind to me and all my guys every time I've met him. So it's a special song. I feel like it says, you know, what it says is special, and, you know, I hope a lot of folks can relate to it. I feel like an old soul because chances are, whatever we're communicating on right now, I don't know how to run a damn bit of it. Like the Zoom calls and stuff we do, they have to set all that stuff up for me. I like working with my hands, and a lot of the social media stuff, I've found that in my life personally, for business it's great, but in general I'm not the biggest fan of it, just because I think one of the main problems in society right now is that people don't get punched in the face anymore. I mean, there's just a whole lot of things being said on there that, you know, people don't have to, you know, they're not held accountable for. So the communication on there to me can be challenging. I'd much rather have a conversation with somebody, you know, in person or whatever. So with technology and everything else, I feel like I'm kind of a dinosaur, and, you know, there's kind of a, I don't know, the temperament of society right now really isn't necessarily my cup of tea. I'm not too concerned about hurting everybody's feelings as much as everybody else. So I learned a lot of lessons in life by having my feelings hurt and by having somebody hit me in the head. So personally, I prefer the old ways, I guess. But what makes this song so special is I feel like there are a lot of people, maybe not to that extent, but that really one of the underlying messages is like, you know, I know what I love. Right, and there are things that I enjoy in life, and if there comes a day when country, on what we consider to be country, or country life, hunting, fishing. You know, if there ever comes a day in this country where that doesn't fit in, then I don't really want to be here anymore, and that's completely accurate. I feel like there's a lot of times in today's world I don't necessarily fit in, and I'm all right with that. You know, I feel like this song captures that really well, and it, more than anything, it just kind of highlights some of the things that are important, and kind of, you know, it makes reference in there to guys, you know, opening up doors and pulling out chairs and saying ma'am and sir, and these are things that are kind of being left behind a little bit in society. Personally, I hope whoever, well, it's a terrifying thought, and I'll probably be in prison before this happens, but I hope whoever my daughter ends up with, you know, pulls out chairs and opens up doors. If he doesn't, we're gonna have a talk. And, you know, I hope my son, or my son will, you know, those are things that he'll be raised to prioritize and make sure he does. I think they're important. There's some things that the greatest generation taught us, and their generations before them, that we're losing touch with. And I feel like this song talks about some of those things and kind of brings them back to life. The Deluxe part of an album has been something we've done a few times in my career, and to me in the past, and too so on this record, it's been a way of kind of tying up loose ends and kind of punctuating a sentence. There's any ground that we hadn't covered on the album, it's also a chance to get that last word in. It's also a good opportunity to, you know, if we write a song that just has to be on that project, between the time this is released and the time this is released, you know, we have time to put it on there. So to me, there's a lot of benefits to it. It's also like when we release, you know, our pre-release song before the record comes out, before the album comes out. The way people consume music is so different now. I feel like we give them more of an opportunity to consume those songs, live with them, learn them, get what, you know, take what they can from them, and, you know, then we drop, you know, the 10-song record. That's a body of work. So our diehards, the people that really dive into records and want to hear the guts of them, you know, it gives them time to live with those, and, you know, then we drop 5 more on you. So it's a little more of a, you know, just easier to hold people's attention for 5 songs than it is for 18 or 20. You know, I feel like if I were to drop an 18, 20 song record tomorrow, I've burned 15 songs probably. Just by the way most people listen. You know, we're not, and we lose track of this too, we're not just a click away from the next song on your album. You're a click away from another artist in another genre, or a click away to something that doesn't have anything at all to do with music. I don't know if y'all remember this at all, but I remember going to like Walmart and sitting in the parking lot waiting on, you know, that CD to come to hit the shelf, and then getting it, taking it home and living with it. My favorites were always the B-sides. You know, where I come from, we didn't have any record stores around, so if you wanted one of the CDs that had a parental advisory sticker on it, you had to take your ass to Best Buy. Walmart wouldn't sell you the map. I'd have it long enough till my mom found it, threw it out the window. For me, if I hear another artist on a song, or if I meet somebody I want to do a song with, like, it's just no set way on how it has to happen. But I feel like it's more than just a co-op on a piece of work, right? It's them bringing everything they've built to the table and standing behind something with you. You know what I mean? And music's such a powerful thing when you join forces with somebody else. I feel like if it's done right, it gives songs weight that they wouldn't have otherwise. And you know, you're obviously reaching out to people who may have not heard it, you know, had that feature not been on it. And vice versa, you know, I think it kind of complements itself in both ways. But yeah, we did a lot of features on this album, and I think it's something I'm having a blast with, so I intend to do more of it. I'm kind of in an interesting chapter in my career and in my life. I got a 3-year-old little girl, a 5-year-old little boy, married, been sober 11 years, and I kind of figure if I'm gonna be out of the house and be away from my family, I'm gonna be having fun and doing something I love. And in order for it to be something that I love, I'm gonna have to be able to go back to writing what I want to write and letting songs be what they want to be. You know, the days of releasing 20 songs and trying to bend them all and add musical elements that make them more country because you're in the country genre, that's kind of out the window with me. I want songs to be what they want to be, and you know, people's definition of country can be just that. And it's their definition, it's their opinion, and I have one of my own, but I'm the guy who's writing and releasing the songs, so yeah, I win. Oh man, I heard about it from Aaron, my manager, first, and right off the bat, it was like, okay, this could be cool. But the more conversations we had with our team, it just became a no-brainer. Like, you know, a lot of times when you go out, especially as a support act, you know, you have to fight for stage space. You have to fight to bring this video screen, or, you know, to shoot pyro or cryo. And from the jump, they have literally been like, tell us what we can do to make the show better, to make your show better. It's like, you know, we're in such different worlds that I feel like there's a competitive thing that kind of got washed out. Kind of similar as when we were on tour with Five Finger Death Punch. We're so much in different worlds that the shows themselves aren't so much of it. There's always an unspoken competition thing in genre. Like if you're touring with somebody that's in the same genre, you may say it's not, and I always said it wasn't, but there is a little thing that you bring to stage where he was like, all right, that was cool, watch this, you know? So I feel like that's always there, but us being in two different genres, or you know, we're in different enough worlds where I feel like, you know, that line in the sand's kind of been blurred a little bit, and they're just super cool guys. And the goal has felt from the jump, and the conversations have been all about, as opposed to we've all been to shows, we've all been to concerts, but we've all also been to experiences where you leave and you're like, dude, I'll never forget that, you know, and that's what we wanted to bring people, especially, you know, after COVID. I feel like, yeah, there's in large part, people still need a little extra motivation to get out of the house. And as much as I love the idea of bringing out an up and coming, you know, musician in this genre, artist in this genre, I love that. It gives you a chance to stand behind something you believe in, something you want to support. Also gets their foot in the door, kind of gives them an audience that, you know, we've spent careers, you know, building. I love being able to do that, but right now we felt that we were in a chapter in our careers, and I think they're in a similar place where we really want to deliver. It's almost like a second go around, I think, for them and for us. Two of my guys retired out last year, so we got two new guitar players, and these guys are fire hot. And the show's just it's something else. I'll be honest with you, like I was telling somebody earlier, it's like our 90-minute show is fun. It is. It's a roller coaster, but we're always putting in a new song, or, you know, an older one that may be, you know, just a few people in there know, and that's kind of a cool experience for them. But I can't play an hour and a half worth of hits. They could sit there and play 2 hours worth of hits if they wanted to. They're gonna fit theirs in 90 minutes. Our 75-minute set this past week's what we went out with this weekend just to test it, and it is a powder keg. So to reduce that even more to 60 minutes, and then to have them for a full set after that, hey, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because I'm on this tour. This thing's gonna leave a damn crater wherever it touches down. It's serious business. I mean, all jokes aside, like it really is going to be something that I think people are going to show up and be like, oh, holy shit. Like I was hoping it was going to be good, but that, you know, I mean, these guys have sold 60 million records. They've sold as many albums as we have singles. Traditionally, my albums have kind of encapsulated a chapter of my life. I liked it that way. It's always been autobiographical. Like, if you listen to all of my records front to, you know, beginning to end, you have a pretty decent idea who I am and what I've been through. You know, not as unfiltered as I would like it to have been in places, but you have a pretty good idea of who I am and what I've been through. And this one's a little different just because things are so different now. And I will forever miss the days where, you know, you could release an 18, 20 song record that had a theme, that had, you know, a front to back message that told a story. It's just hard to get away with right now. And I think, you know, where one door closes, another one opens, and the door that opened for me was, all right, so what can we do that's different? And I think that for us is, I know there's some guys playing in some other spaces and having fun with it. But I think just taking an unapologetic approach to all the influences that have gone into our music all these years, to actually just release something unapologetically that says, all right, I don't know if this song's a country song or a rap song. I don't really know what it is. I mean, what genre would you put Son of the Dirty South in? I don't know that it exists, you know, and it don't bother me to have an album full of those. They can get confused as they want to and accidentally add them to all kind of playlists. It won't break my heart. We have a lot in the shoot that we're excited about. We're also working with. Jelly Roll spilled a little bit of tea, so I could tell you a little bit about it, what I know. We actually went in for about a week, basically moved into a studio and just lived there and wrote songs and recorded. So I think what we're trying to figure out right now is whether it's an EP or a full album, but we'll be releasing something together 2024 at the very latest. But I feel safe in saying it's probably this year. Right now, I think we'd throw it out tomorrow, but we want to make sure it's literally like a co-released album. Nobody's really done that effectively in a long time. So it's got to be right. You know, especially if it's going to be the foot in the door to other people deciding to do it too. You know, I feel like right now is a time in our genre and just in music in general where the boat's starting to rock. And when the boat rocks, I start getting excited for lots of different reasons. Usually because we're outside the box enough to, to benefit from it. But I'll say, with this EP or this album, whatever we decide to do, we have to make sure it's done right, unapologetically and intentionally, and it has to be something. It can't just be something that somebody throws in their library and clicks through and that's kind of cool. It has to be something that shakes the mold a little bit. So we're gonna make damn sure it does that, and then we'll send it to you guys. And then I'm already working on the next album, and this one ain't out yet. And it's looking fire too. So we're gonna be rapid fire here for a little while. It's gonna be fun.